Hello, everyone, and welcome to CV Chats. My name is Laleh Hancock, and I'm going to be your host as we have different conversations, different chats with people all around the globe about our bodies, different parts of our bodies, our businesses, our relationships, our finances, our children, different things that maybe may not be a conversation you would have with others. But we're going to have conversations here that hopefully will inspire you to whatever's going on in your life, but also what can we create, inviting a different conversation about vaginas, penises, bodies, and so much more. Hello, everyone, and welcome to CV Chats. I am so excited to be sharing one of my special friends with you guys today. Her name is Sura Abu-AlSaad. Hello, beautiful. Welcome.
Hey, thank you. I'm so excited.
Well, I'm so excited to have you here. You know, one of the reasons CV Chats was actually created is for us to have conversations, chats that most people tend not to have. You know, talk about things that maybe some places it's not appropriate conversation, or just being able to honor our bodies and invite the conversations of, hey, what's going on? What's going on with my body? What is this that I'm actually noticing or perceiving is going on? And, you know, one of the things with CV Chats is that we are not scripted. So everything's this natural conversation. And when you and we were chatting, one of the things that came up is, you know, as ladies, we have different things at different moments. We've got hormones, we've got, you know, our monthly periods, and we have a lot of different things that come along with that as well.
Yeah.
So when you and we were chatting, that was something you wanted to talk more about. So tell us more. What would you like to talk about?
Yeah. So the first thing that really come up for me was the cramps. Like every single month, kind of, what would it require to have more, not just ease, actually joy with the period, and to enjoy that kind of change and transformation, and kind of read having this stuff and get it like recreated in an amazing way, instead of just having cramps and moody things swinging and sweating sometimes. And what's all about that?
You know, it's so interesting because if I look back at my life, you know, with the cramps, it was those moments that just seemed that sensation, whatever was going on in the body, kind of overtook everything, you know, like the stress of it, or even sometimes it was so painful in the shower, I would just drop to the ground or curl up on my bed or something of that sort. But what if it was about us having a different kind of conversation in communion with our bodies?
Yep. Yep.
You know, like I don't know anyone until the last few years that even said, I have a body, you know, or that, hey, having a conversation with our bodies, having communion with our bodies. It's not something that we learn in school. But what would it take
Yeah.
if we could have? You know, what would it take to
Yeah.
have CV chats everywhere on the planet, in schools and everywhere?
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Like, and that chat with the body is it's something amazing. It's really changed a lot, because acknowledging that body and honoring it and acknowledging how magical that is, it's something we did not really used to have. It's something, funnily, is the other way around, what we used to do in our body, all that
Yeah.
separation stuff. So what would it require to have this communion?
Well, you know, like the first place really is actually even acknowledging you have a body. Like even just take a moment and just like hug your body, say hello
Yeah.
to your body. It's not that difficult. All you have to do is just put your arms around your body. One of my favorite things is just to put your hands on your face and just say hello
Yeah.
and notice how different it is just this moment of relaxation with our bodies. Now, most of us learn at a very young age to start to judge our bodies. I'm too tall. I am too short. I'm too young. I'm too old. I have wrinkles. I have this. Like, really, when we look at our bodies, it's that immediate judgment instead of the gratitude. So,
Yeah.
even though we're talking about the bodily changes that happen during a month, well, the period actually is there because it is that transformation of the body. It is the body creating a whole new cycle, a new way for itself to like regenerate. So,
Exactly.
if we started with gratitude, like for all of you that are listening, the next time around your cycle time, maybe a week before, what would it take for you to actually start to talk to your body and like a best friend, you know? Now you can start the talking that way now, but I would say before then, what if it is about like I'm so grateful for you that I get to have a period.
That's a very nice to start with thing. Like it's acknowledging, it's honoring, it's receiving. It's funny, I have this like maybe I did not even receive the period itself. And how awesome is that? You know, like one of the interesting thing that I was kind of started to be aware about, like in when I was teenager and we started to have the period and stuff. It was like kind of competition between cousins, like who's getting more pain. So it's more feminist side because she's more on pain. That's quite interesting.
That is really interesting. Um, Okay, I don't know. I hadn't experienced that personally myself, but yeah, that's quite fascinating. Like who has the most amount of cramps? So what do you win? Do you win a prize or
Yeah, not the best, but yeah, I did my best in the competition too. Yeah. But when I got there, I was like, oh, send it back to sender. And what it required to have the joy with that and to receive it from that time of the month.
Yeah, yeah. It's really interesting because most people, when they think about their periods, it's definitely not gratitude, right? It's like, why do I have it? It's this terrible thing that I have to deal with every month. It's messy. It's this, it's that. And and if we really start from that space of gratitude, I wonder what else we might start to notice. You know? Like, first, it was the gratitude of actually being able to have a period. So if you have a period, there's other things that are working for your body. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean if you don't have a period, you won't get pregnant or all these other things that come along with it too. However, it's cleansing. And so with that cleansing, what else can we be grateful for? Like one of the things you said earlier is that you sent it back to the sender, and that's a tool that I know I've put in the shows before, but it's called Who Does This Belong To? And it's from Access Consciousness. And with anything, it's not just about the period, it's like any moment you have any sensations, any emotions, any pain, intensity, you want to ask, who does this belong to? Because actually, our bodies are very aware of their surroundings, but the surrounding radius is not just where you're sitting. that radius goes out very, very far. And as you start to have greater communication, communing with your body, you'll start to notice things way beyond your city, beyond your country, um, and so much more. But one of the things that I recognized is that when I started to learn this particular tool, I asked for my periods because I used to get terrible cramps. And my mom, when I told her about it, she's like, "Don't worry, honey. As soon as you have babies, you won't have cramps anymore." And she was right. After giving birth to my twins, I did not have any cramps anymore, but it wasn't one for one. You know what I mean? Like, I get that there are some things that also change with our bodies with the birth, but you don't have to just have a baby to be able to have more ease with the cramping. And so I started to ask the question of, okay, who does it actually belong to? Is it mine? Is it someone else? Is it something else? And something else, majority of the time, it's the earth. Like, we know what's going on. We know the earth pulls our energy to bring more contribution, to bring more laughter, to bring more joy, to bring more ease to different things that are going on. And it was the earth. And as soon as I recognized that day, no more cramp. Cramp went away. Bye bye. And I
Wow.
haven't had it since, you know? So, like, I wonder if we really start to allow our bodies to communicate with us and to give us information, what else we might discover. So I'm going to ask you this question. So, all the cramping that you have, truth, who does that belong to? Is it yours?
It's
Is
not
it
mine.
someone
Somebody else.
else's?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or is it something else? What do you get?
That's interesting. Is something else was the lighter one?
Mm,
Hmm.
okay.
Uh, and
But it's interesting because you said someone else became light. That was something that did. And one of the things that we tend not to know is that one of our capacities is to duplicate. So, like, look at your features. Do you look like your mom? Do you look like your dad? Do you look like both? We
hmm.
have the ability to duplicate, and it's actually called biomimetic mimicry. And so if your mom had stuff going on, then you can duplicate for mom, auntie, grandma, somebody. So it ends up being that you really got to ask the question to figure out how that applies to you personally.
Yeah. And I would also say validation because
Mm,
it was kind of to validate how feminine I am. So
mm,
to prove how feminine I am, like, look at me. As same as you, feminine. If I'm
mm.
putting the
It
yeah.
it's very interesting. Like, I think I talked about this in one of the podcasts as well. It's proven that when women live together, eventually their cycle of their period synchronizes to be at the same time. And it's interesting how much our bodies have many, 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 many capacities. One of them duplication, but one of them is this frequency, having the ability to attune to that frequency, adapt to that frequency. So just like clocks, like they've done, like, the big Clark uh clocks, like grandfather clocks, and when you put them together in the room and there's a whole bunch of them, they start to synchronize together.
Wow. Yeah.
So, yeah, but see, we tend not to know, we tend not to recognize that it's not just about that moment. It's not just about your period. It's all the ways that without even noticing it cognitively that we start to duplicate things that are going on in someone's life.
Yep.
Like for example, I'll tell you one of the things that a lot of women come to me for sessions or they come to conscious vagina classes is different things that are going on in their bodies. And with even just asking questions, beginning to identify where they're duplicating something or
Yep.
where they're actually aware of someone else. They perceive the symptoms, they don't actually have it, but it's like their body feels it. And so starting to recognize who does this belong to tool is fantastic. I highly recommend it. 13 years later, I have a very different way that this talks to me than it ever did before. And 98% of all our thoughts, feelings, emotions, sensations, pain, intensity, they don't belong to us. But it's that awareness of it and the body feeling it, and immediately we think it belongs to us.
Yep. We
Yeah,
do. We do. And it is really magical tool that whenever there is something, it's just change and shift the space for us. Like even with the cramps, like before knowing the tools, before getting to access, I really had much more intense of the cramps and fatigue and lower back pain. I can't go to gym. I can't really function, mood swinging and stuff. But within that tool, it's things are really shifting. I still do things. I my sleeping is like being better and better. The cramps is getting better in terms of intensity as well, and me functioning. So yeah, so what else is possible that we can tap in and receive more from that?
that's really cool. And it's mm, so often we want to look outside of ourselves, like the medication or the doctor. What does the doctor know? Or someone else, what did they do? But really starts from within. Like if we start to actually communicate with our bodies, be present, it's amazing the way our bodies communicate with um like I have found like I'll give you guys an example. I don't recall what year it was, but there was a year when in the Philippines they had the tsunami.
Mm.
And what was interesting is for 18 hours I had cramping, like intense pain. And as soon as that intensity started, because I went from happy, jolly me, no pain, to an immediate pain. And I was like, okay, what is this? Who does this belong to? And when I asked my body, is this yours? And it was like, no. So I was like, is it mine? No. Is it someone else's? No. Is it something else? Yes. Okay. What is it? Is it the earth? Yes. And so I had no idea. I wouldn't have even told you that I was even thinking about Philippines. Philippines from the US is a pretty far ride, was nowhere in my awareness. And for 18 hours, I wrapped my belly and was just hanging out. And my husband turned on the TV and the news came on and they said, alert, news alert, there's just been a tsunami that hit the Philippines. As soon as they said that, my cramping went away.
Wow. Wow. How aware you are. That's awesome.
But see, our bodies are aware. Our bodies come from the earth
Very
and
clever.
yeah, they're very in tune with things that are going on, even if it's not next door to you, you know?
Doesn't matter.
But I knew that day I was contributing to something I just didn't know. And sometimes you won't know cognitively because, it's something that, if I wouldn't have turned on the TV, I wouldn't have maybe put two and two together there.
Yeah.
Um, but as soon as we heard, my body relaxed, and it was as if I didn't even have those 18 hours. And I was like, wow, because the earth asks for our help, like fires, earthquakes, all sorts of things. Disasters don't happen because the earth is mad at us. It happens because there's an imbalance. The earth needs to remain healthy and it needs to be balanced. And the more anger we have, the more war we have, the more all
Yeah.
these ways that we're corrupting the lands and stuff. Well, guess what? It has an effect. And there needs to be a balance. And so sometimes that balance is that the earth shakes. Sometimes it's that, the temperature, the different climate things that are going on create a tsunami, or it creates a hurricane or something of that sort. But the earth will ask for those who are awake or awakening, will ask for help. So
And to
sometimes we are
contribute.
going to perceive it with that
Mhm.
intensity or pain in our bodies. So we really got to ask questions. Body, what is this? What can I do with it, body? What information are you sharing with me? What do you require? And sometimes it's going to be that you're going to pick medicine. For me, that cramping, as soon as I knew it was the earth, it wasn't my body. So just to take medicine, it wasn't going to work. But if it belonged to my body and my body wanted medicine, I would have been happy to give my body medicine.
Mhm.
But when you start to have these conversations and actually really create a greater communion with your body, you also know early stages when something's off, when something needs to be checked. So I really recommend for all of you who are listening, no matter what it is, whether it's your cramps, like you were saying, back pain, sweatiness, or uncomfortableness, not being able to sleep or whatever, like start to ask, body, what information are you sharing with me? And if you allow, that information will come, maybe not that moment, but as you relax, the more you relax, the easier it is for your body to communicate with you.
Yeah. Yeah. And just one thing it came up in my universe when you were talking about biomimic things.
Mm.
I read once that, and it happened to me, like my kind of period is aligned with the full moon cycle. So when I kind of read about it a little bit, it was like back then, millions years back, when the like people was leaving the women at the cave and then they go to hunting in the full moonlight, then while the women chose to have their period. So they kind of,
Mm.
yeah, so they kind of, when the men gonna come back, they finish their period, so they are ready to play, you know? So I feel like all my period was within the full moon cycle. What is that? And when I read, it's like, wow.
That's pretty cool, actually. I can't say that every woman has that, but that's pretty cool that yours was that way. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Every day I'm just amazed by the gift of our bodies.
yeah, amazing.
And if we allow, they're not just something that wakes up and just we drag it to places, but it becomes your best friend. It becomes truly, truly what a best friend was meant to be, because sometimes our best friends stab us in the back. That's not what this is. Our bodies have no point of view. That's why if you notice, we abuse our bodies in so many ways. We judge it all the time, and yet it still adores us. It still lets us be here. And really, our bodies, other than having preferences, really have no points of view. So, what if today was the day for us to, if you like, apologize to your body and really start that gratitude? Um, Anytime you have gratitude, you cannot judge because they're on parallel energetic frequencies. So, if you have gratitude, it's a high frequency. But guess what? You have gratitude, you got joy up here, but you got money, 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 money up there too. And then at the lower is where it's the judgments and, the anger, the hate, the frustration, and those energies. Fear, it's at a lower harmonic. So that moment that something's going on and you notice it, what if that first moment was just to relax? Even if you want, close your eyes, put your hands on your face, put it on your belly, wherever you like. Just say, body, thank you. What is this? What could I do with it? Can we change it? If so, how can we change it? And actually allow your body to be that best friend, that partner that actually shows you what it desires, what it requires.
It's very funny in English sometimes when you have a best friend, you call them, yeah, this is my buddy, right? This is my
Yeah.
buddy. She's my buddy. What if our buddy become our buddy?
That's pretty cool. The
Yeah,
buddy.
it's like buddy is the buddy. It's the actual buddy of us. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more than a best of friends. It's the buddy, like the one that we sometimes like, yeah, this is my buddy. This is my buddy. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. That's really cool. Yeah. Yeah. And be willing to include your body in everything, like and then we can have another show just dedicated to just that communication with our bodies, but it really starts from even asking your body what it would like to wear, what it would like to eat, where it would like to go. And if you start to actually ask those questions, you'll find your body really can gift you information because the future communicates with your body, your business communicates with your body, the earth communicates with your body. And the more you include that information, that awareness, the more it might actually create more ease in our lives.
Yeah. And even in a period time to ask also like, buddy, what's you required? Because sometimes we go to think that it's not really belong to us, some medication or some kind of thing that maybe it works for other, but not for our body. Like
Yeah.
after getting the access tool and that question, like, buddy, what you required, even me during the period, I started to play with different things. Like it's not necessarily to be very long sleep. It doesn't not necessarily to have that kind of painkiller. Sometimes it's just lean and hug or enjoy my cat or kind of some sweet that I did not really ask my buddy for before.
Hmm.
Just functioning what other people are doing during period, these kind of things. So thanks for
Yeah.
bringing that up as well. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. It's amazing because even though you're part of families, it doesn't mean that what works for your body will work for your mom, your sister, or anybody else. Mine is very, very unique, very different. And so, what worked for my family's bodies, it didn't work for mine. And even things that they had going on, I didn't. my body did not have those things going on. So again, it's individualized to you and your body. And as you start to actually have conversations with your body, that communion with your body, you can find out more of what is going to work for your body instead of the try 10,000 different things and hope one of them's going to work. I mean, that's an option that's available for everyone too. But if you'd like to do the fast track is to actually ask your body a question. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I would recommend that as well. That's so
Well, I am.
awesome. Question always awesome.
Yeah. Sura, thank you so much for this conversation. I'm so grateful for you and all the conversations we've had, and especially this particular one, because I really wonder how many people can even have these conversations with people. The period is something that is so intimate, and so many people are so private about it, and they don't want to have a conversation about it. But what if now is the time for us to open those doors and actually allow ourselves to have the conversations that maybe in the past didn't seem comfortable or didn't seem appropriate to have? Because where else on the planet are we going to go to really have such great conversations? Like, I really wish along the way I had someone having these conversations with me.
Yes, same, same. How awesome! How awesome! And to have this kind of, like conscious discussion that opened up doors and thinking maybe things that I did not think about it. I just also send different things to senders so I can be more me and have more communion with my body. So I'm so grateful for that. Thank you.
Yeah. And actually, this one tool that you're talking about in the how to become, in the app, Who Does This Belong To? You guys can download it. It's on the Apple as well as Google. You can schedule it for it to come up every few minutes or every hour or however part you'd like it to be. But it will remind you to ask, who does this belong to? Is it yours? Is it someone else's? Is it something else? And when it's someone else, don't try to figure out who is a mom, grandma, auntie, or somebody else. When it's somebody else, it just means that your awareness has heightened to become aware of their body. But if you try to figure it out too much, that's when we start to take it on, okay, and put it into our bodies. But when you're like, okay, someone else, cool, it's not mine. Let me just return it back to the senders with consciousness attached. It doesn't hurt them. What happens is that awareness, now you're sending the awareness back to them with consciousness so that now they can have some clarity and some awareness to what's going on. They may or may not, that's their choice. But this way, it's going to them with consciousness attached. And that way, you also allow your body to have more space and more relaxation, that it was just giving you a communication so that you knew, hey, by the way, grandma has something going on down the street. Um, but yeah, starting to actually not take on everyone's pain, difficulty, stress, and all this other stuff. Like, what can that contribute? What can that create in our worlds? Because whether we know it or not, we are amazing healers. Our bodies are healing powered bodies. And just look at it. You hug someone, it melts them. If they had some difficulty going on, it just brings them such a gift. The same thing. Our bodies have these capacities and we have capacities. And when you start to empower yourself to how to use them to your advantage and be able to work with them, it's going to be a lot more ease than taking it on and being in bed forever. No, I'm just kidding. No, how many of us have done that? Taken on other people's stress, problems, soaked it in, and then spent hours trying to figure out how to get out of it.
Yeah. Overwhelming, everything. We
Yeah.
are magical to the point that we can do everything by choice.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much, beautiful, for being here with me today and
Thank
this
you.
conversation. And what would
Thank
it take
you.
for this trickle out to everyone who might be looking for it? So, what
Yeah.
if there is something else available beyond those cramps, pain, sweating, back pain, the lack of sleep, and just actually starting to have communion and having joy with our bodies?
Yeah. What would it require for that? Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thanks for being the invitation also for the tools and how to really be that invitation, how to play with such tools and to get more conscious vagina.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. And we look forward
Thank
to
you.
seeing you guys next week on CV Chats. Bye, you guys. Thank you for being here with CV Chats. Hopefully, you had some awarenesses, information, some new tools to help you with whatever's going on in your life. Maybe even gain some more communication with your body. And we invite you to who do you know that can also have this conversation contribute to? Will you help us in spreading the seeds and inviting this to go even deeper all around the globe to people to know something else is available for us and we can choose something different with our bodies every single day. So thank you for being here. And if you have any comments, suggestions, or would like to have a particular topic on the next shows, comment below and let us know. You can always also send us a message in our Facebook. We also have Instagram with Conscious Vagina, and you can also contact us at globalwellnessforall.com/contact. See you soon.